And just like that, the moon entered Sagittarius. See, when the moon was in Scorpio, it's sleep there. It's a detriment. So it's like a deep internal transformation. How you feel on the inside about an area and location that's located in your charts. Now, once you go through that transformation, you got to make your way of looking at the higher octave when it comes to moon and Sagittarius, whereas it's actually exalted in that area, in that perspective. So during this time, you're either going to be pretty much, once you go through that transformation, you're either going to be feeling the need to pretty much separate. You know, after when you have a sexual intercourse, you want to pretty much separate from your partner just because you guys, you know, y'all was all nappy. So you, with the moon and Sagittarius, this is pretty much the higher you go, the harder you fall. So you want to make sure you falling hard into a hard-ass status, a hard-ass passion, a hard-ass goal, aka that shit go hard. That kind of perspective. You don't want to be pretty much falling in some hard-ass responsibilities that's going to pretty much burden you. And of course, these are going to be responsibilities that you do not want to pretty much carry on your shoulders. And you want to pretty much lighten your weight when it comes to this perspective. Because if you planted, you know, seeds in areas that pretty much going to gravitate towards your comfortability plays into, then of course you're going to go through a deep power control, aka transformation, with the Pluto being in Capricorn. When Pluto is in Capricorn, a whole lot of death transformations, and of course rebirth and regeneration, for good or for worse. Now, if you in a bad aspects, put this at perspective, then of course you're going to have a whole lot more climbing to do, climbing that goddamn ladder. But when it comes to this perspective, the moon in Sagittarius is going to make us fall in Capricorn. So that means you want to pretty much, that's the bed you're going to pretty much lay in when it comes to looking at the bigger picture, and of course having that aim, having that sharpshooter aim, and going directly towards expanding that area and location. Now, we're pretty much dealing with it in conjunction in the sky right now. So we're gonna be pretty much dealing with misunderstandings when it comes to privacy and escaping during this time, when it comes to home, family, and what makes you feel comfortable, and of course not wanting to be pretty much mother. Now, these energies in the sky right now, the moon is opposing Venus right now, so that pretty much how we feel about the things we value and appreciate is pretty much at odds. For me, everybody, it's not like it's a strong aspect, but of course it's a situation where, you know, everybody's gonna feel the need to pretty much retract and recuperate and get from that area as well. Because Venus is in Gemini right now. It's all about love language and like moon in Sagittarius. It needs you to manifest areas where you can go ahead and expand, and of course get away from certain areas and certain locations that's pretty much trapping you. Now, the zodiac sign that's going to pretty much be getting opposed is going to be Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant. Virgo is going to be going through a learning aspect, and Pisces is going to be going through a learning aspect. See, the fire in Sagittarius is pretty much that fire, that flame that pretty much electrocute that spark. In that perspective, and we're pretty much dealing with these energies. Now, the cheat codes that's in the sky at the moment, we got the Sun sextile Uranus. So we're going to have the opportunities to go ahead and pay attention towards expressing emotional change in an unexpected way. Feel me? Because changes you pretty much, you're going through some whole lot of unexpected changes when it comes to your emotional stance. These can go to the extreme matters. These could be good, but also being that the Sun is in Cancer and Uranus is in Taurus, is exalted there. So that means you're going to have opportunities to go through some changes, which is going to pretty much where it's going to outweigh you and exalt you and put you into an area and a location where you can pretty much be practical towards these areas. How you gain your reputation, how you gain your own unique way of doing things. Of course, bringing some form of comfortability and safety and security in that aspect as well. We got the Sun squaring Chiron at the moment, so that means what we're paying attention to, we're going to pretty much learning from our mistakes during this time, our emotional mistakes. So you pretty much need to learn how to expand that area, or you pretty much need to learn how to pay attention towards what you're paying attention to, because what you're paying attention to is going to pretty much be the reflection that you're getting back when it comes to your mistakes and your traumas and shit. So that's, for instance, this thing that's floating in the air. If you keep paying attention to that, you're going to be going through some form of frustration, some form of worry and stuff like that. Of course, you don't want to pretty much bring that in your consciousness. You want to keep that clear, like clarity. Now, when it comes to the Sun conjuncting Mercury right now, we're pretty much going to be acting out what's on our mind. So that means pretty much what you're paying attention to when it's on what's on your mind is pretty much what you're going to be pushing off. And that's what you're going to be pretty much getting back when it comes to Leo season. That energy you pushed off became attention, and it became a ball that can pretty much get back onto your stage with you. Now, we got the Sun trine and Neptune right now, so we're going to have the gift to pay attention towards a dream or a fantasy that's going to pretty much take off. or this is gonna be past dreams and past fantasies that we've been paying attention to. That's gonna previously pop back up. We got the sun conjunct we got the sun opposition Pluto right now. So that means our emotions and the reality is at odds right now. For me, everybody have a disconnection or discomfort when it comes to your actions and when it comes to deep transformation during this time. When it comes to status, reputation, and goals too. We also got the moon trine Jupiter right now, so we're gonna pretty much have an emotional, harmonious gift to feel the need to expand when it comes to our reasonings, our meanings, and our principles. We also got Mercury trine. We also got moon trine Chiron right now, so we're gonna pretty much have the gift to feel the need to react towards expanding our trauma in an area where it can pretty much benefit us, not an area where it's gonna pretty much detriment us. We also got the Mercury square Jupiter right now, so this is pretty much learning how to expand your mind when it comes to experiences in life. And we also got Mercury square Chiron. We also got Mercury square Chiron right now, so this is pretty much learning about the emotional trauma that's on our mind at this moment. So with this emotional trauma, if you're caring about things that's bringing you trauma, or if you're caring about things that's on your mind that's dealing with trauma, this emotion is going to pretty much expand. It's going to become bigger, which means it's going to put you into situations where you're going to go through some trauma in that area, and it's going to expand. Because we also got Jupiter in Aries at the moment. We got Chiron in Aries. So that trauma that's on your mind can expand for the worse or for the better. So you want to pretty much make sure that you're communicating or having an emotional connection with someone that you can pretty much go have a connection with when it comes to communicating about our trauma, or not pretty much taking charge or allowing these things to pretty much impulsively take you over. We also got Venus trine Saturn at the moment. So we got the with Venus trine Saturn, we're gonna have the gift to have a harmonious connection when it comes to communicating, intellect, sharing ideas, and of course sharing the status or reputation with people, places, and things, or communicating about status and growth or building a bond during this time. We also got Venus square Neptune right now. So this is pretty much learning how to communicate about our dreams or our illusions at the moment. For me, when they have some conflict in that area, which means you could pretty much, this means like this is a situation where you're in a relationship with a person, but you don't know if you're in a relationship with this person. It's a situation where you kind of like place yourself in a situation like, oh damn, am I in a relationship with this person? Is this a real relationship? Are we just benefits? That's gonna be a kind of perspective you're gonna pretty much be going into, because Venus exalts Neptune. Being that it's doing this rotation, it's in another sign. That means pretty much this is bringing some conflict, some form of conflict when it comes to your relationships and stuff like that. I mean, some illusions. Also, we got Saturn square Uranus. So this is learning how to ground ourselves when it comes to being unique and original and having our own status and reputations when it comes to these bonds. We're going to have Neptune sextile to Pluto at the moment. So with Neptune being in Pisces and Pluto being in Capricorn, you're going to have the opportunities to have power and control over your dreams, your imaginations, your fantasies, or you can pretty much utilize your dreams and fantasies to pretty much come true in a world where you can pretty much gain power and control, and of course a status and reputations for me. So that means you need to put some dream and imaginations towards practicality, towards status, career goals, reputations, and come up with a new way of doing it. Being that Pluto is in Capricorn at the moment, and of course when the full moon get there, that's also going to help it. Being that Neptune is still sextile to Pluto, so those dreams and fantasies that you pretty much been having on your intellect, these things are going to pretty much become practical measures. These things are going to become structure where you can pretty much utilize the material to ground yourself with these things, and of course have an area where you can pretty much have a status and reputation towards building and bonding with individuals. Now, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendances, whatever's smothering you when it comes to your personal life, or whatever's pretty much a burden on your shoulders at this moment, especially if it's not pretty much helping you or at least expanding what you got going on, you need to go ahead and of course put time and energy towards expanding and looking at the bigger picture when it comes to your personality, your personal life. This is like a personal 360 for you. And the better you can pretty much do this, you'll be fulfilled when it comes to your status, your reputation, and of course having full power and control over your material, your resources, and of course areas that you pretty much plant those seeds in when it comes to Capricorn. Now, if you got this in your second house, you can be placed into a circumstance situation of having a need to go ahead and, of course, escape from the things you value, appreciate, or attach to when it comes to resources and material, or individuals that's pretty much trying to gain comfortability or take power and control of your resources and material. What's going to pretty much help you is you need to go ahead and, of course, expand or look at the bigger picture when it comes to valuing certain people, places, and things, or at least having a grounded basis when it comes to stability and grounding and building. Now, if you're playing good seeds, and if you look at the bigger picture when it comes to this aspect, you will have a fulfillment when it comes to your when it comes to your third house, being in Pluto. So you'll be able to have power and control over your environment, your surroundings, your friends, your mind, your intellect. Now, if you got this in your third house, you're gonna be placed into a circumstance situation of being a Libra ascendant. Now, the better you can pretty much look at the bigger picture when it comes to looking, expanding, and of course looking at your environment, and of course getting away from these things that's holding you back in your environment, you'll be able to actually have good seeds to go ahead and plant. And when the full moon becomes fulfilled and the full buck moon comes fulfilled in Capricorn, you'll be able to actually have power, control over your home, your family, your privacy, which of course what you got going on, or you're gonna manifest this. Now, if you got this in your fourth house, you're Virgo ascendant, so that means you're going to be placed into a situation of looking at the bigger picture when it comes to expanding your home, family, privacy, and of course your domestic matters. That was going to pretty much help you in this area of looking at the bigger picture of dealing with home and family. And the better you can pretty much do this, you'll be able to have full power control over your fifth house, your entertainment, and of course things that you do when it comes to dealing with your day-to-day hobbies. Now, if you got this in your fifth house, you're a Leo ascendant, so that means you're going to be placed into a situation of going ahead and looking at the bigger picture when it comes to your fun, when it comes to your romance, when it comes to your love affairs, of course when it comes to your childlike natures or your children. Now, if you're planting good seeds in this area, and of course you get real serious and of course put yourself into a situation of planting good seeds, you'll be able to have fulfillment and full power and control over your sixth house, your work, health routines, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, and you'll pretty much be organized and practical in that area. And of course you have fulfillment in that area. Now, if you got this in your sixth house, you're a Cancersun moon ascendant, so you'll be placed into a circumstance situation of looking at the bigger picture when it comes to dealing with work, health, and of course things that you do every day. Now, if you bet the better, you can pretty much plant seeds in this area, and of course look at the bigger picture when it comes to expanding your work, health, and routines, and of course not being smothered by this area. You'll be able to actually have full power control over your seventh house, your relationships, and people, places, things that relate towards you. Now, when it comes to Sagittarius being in the seventh house, you're a Gemini ascendant, so that means you're going through some obstacles or manifesting oppositions, good or bad, when it comes to your seventh house and your relationships. You're either going to be manifesting situations of feeling smothered, or feeling the need to separate and fly away from seventh house relationships, or pushing off this energy, or manifesting this from others, good or bad. Now, the better you can pretty much look at the bigger picture when it comes to your relationships and your way you're relating, you'll be able to actually have fulfillment when it comes to your privacy, behind the scenes, power, control when it comes to the full moon being in Capricorn and buck moon. Now, if you got this in your eighth house, you're a Taurus moon ascendant, so that means you pretty much are in a circumstance situation of looking at the bigger picture when it comes to your deeper desires and areas that you gain power and control over. Now, the better you can pretty much plant good seeds here in this area and, of course, go through this transformation, the better you'll be able to actually have full power and control over your experiences in life when it comes to the full moon being in Capricorn and the buck perspective. Now, if you got this in your ninth house, you're an Aries sun moon ascendant. So the better you can pretty much look at the bigger picture when it comes to higher learning, higher wisdom, higher knowledge, and expansion, the better you'll be able to actually be fulfilled and have full power and control over your status, your reputation, your goals, your responsibilities. And, of course, you're going to fall hard in that area when it comes to your status and reputation and your goals. And you can outburn yourself and exhaust yourself in that area as well too. Now, if you got this in your 10th house, then that means you are a Pisces sun moon ascendant. So that means you need to pretty much be looking at the bigger picture when it comes to your expanding your status, your reputations, and your spiritual endeavors. Now, the better you can pretty much do this, you'll be able to actually go high and come down, and of course share that with associations and groups when it comes to your 11th house being the full moon and of course the buck moon. Now, if you got this in your 11th house, you're Aquarius sun moon ascendant. So that means you're either going to be feeling the need to pretty much get away from your associations, groups, or ghosting your associations and groups on this time. Now, the better you can pretty much look at the bigger picture when it comes to your friends and the people, places, and things that you relate with, the better you'll be able to actually have dreams and visions and manifestations that can pretty much play out these characteristics and willy and of course come out outwardly when it comes to your having full moon in Capricorn, having full power control over your dreams, imaginations, fantasies, and of course illusions. Now, if you got this in your 12th house, you're a Capricorn sun moon ascendant. So the better you can pretty much look at the bigger picture when it comes to being behind the scenes, having freedom, and getting away from individuals. The better you can have a bigger picture and bigger aspect on this, the better you'll be able to be fulfilled when it comes to your personal life, your personal goals, your personal achievements, your personal reputations, and your status. And of course, you'll be able to have full power control over your personal life, and nobody won't be trying to pretty much take power control over you. And the better you plant seeds in this area, the better these characteristics grow out. And of course, your Capricorn ascendant, so you're pretty pretty much means you need to learn how to look at the bigger picture when it comes to your dreams, fantasies, imaginations, and you'll be able to be fulfilled when it comes to the full moon.